Ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum. From Egypt, the land of peace. We're all honored as a financial regulatory authority in Egypt for hosting this annual meeting and conference of the Growth and Emerging Markets Committee and the Africa and the Middle East Regional Committee of the International Organization of Securities Commissions in Cairo. The Financial Regulatory Authority regulate and develop non-banking financial system, facilitate access finance and insurance and investment services, fostering the Egyptian economy. The meetings will last over 4 days from the 20th until the 23rd of November. Bring top financial exchange experience and ideas, help promoting economic growth. And now, we will watch this video about Egypt and IOSCO.
History started here. Civilization has been built. Science developed. That is where it all began. Egypt, the land of miracles and the source of peace and security, where the Almighty God appeared in and prophets passed through. Since more than 7,000 years, Egypt has always been and will remain a haven for humanity and a beacon guiding humankind. Sustainability, the essence and philosophy of the ancient Egyptian civilization. Ancient Egyptians built magnificent monuments, peerless temples, and splendid statues to last forever as a testament to their lives. Egypt has been and will always remain a peacemaker. Since the reign of Ramesses II and Thutmose III until now, Egypt has established the pillars of peace to build its civilization and achieve progress. Trade exchange and business were deep-rooted in ancient Egypt. From silver and gold, Egypt minted nubnefer as one of the world's oldest currencies used in bilateral trade. Recognizing the key role of trading, a group of Egyptian brokers tried in 1861 to establish the first cotton and grain exchange in Alexandria and made the first registered cotton trading transaction in 1885 at the Alexandria Europe Café. In 1883, Egypt established first exchange in Alexandria, marking one of the world's oldest exchanges, followed by the Cairo Stock Exchange in 1903. Meanwhile, the New York Exchange was established in 1870, Liverpool Exchange in 1873, and New Orleans Exchange in 1880. Moreover, Egypt was the first Arab country issuing a law regulating insurance activities and established the Egyptian Insurance Supervisory Authority in 1939 as the first official regulatory body. Walking in the footsteps of their ancestors, the grandsons moved ahead with the building journey. They built everywhere from Alexandria to Aswan and from Alamein to Sinai, the most precious part of Egypt, and constructed a new capital, turning the sand of the desert into gold. Egyptians kept peace and reinforced the pillars of stability. Peace that creates an exemplary environment for development and investment. In each corner of Egypt, you can see an unparalleled civilization, authenticity, and culture. The Egyptian people realize who they are and proud of their exceptional heritage. The symbols of ancient Egypt are a voice of wisdom and contemplation. The Eye of Horus is a symbol of wisdom, vision, and protection. IOSCO performs a similar role, setting visions and standards to stabilize markets and investors' protection. The lotus is a symbol of resilience, evolution, and sustainability. That is the fundamental function of financial markets and IOSCO to navigate market volatility and extraordinary circumstances. On the banks of its Nile River, experts from various countries gather today in Egypt to take part in IOSCO meetings and exchange visions and ideas on tech, financial inclusion, risk management, and sustainability, financial stability and enhancing market efficiency, international financial rating standards, and carbon markets to mitigate the effects of climate change. The rapidly changing world and volatile global economy underline the importance of IOSCO meetings and increase the feasibility of its objectives. Market stability, investors' protection, leveraging fintech, and fighting climate change are key incentives for investment in all countries worldwide. May peace be upon us and all of you from the land of Egypt.
And now we invite Dr. Mohammed Farid Saleh, Executive Chairman, Financial Regulatory Authority Egypt, and Chairman of the Growth and Emerging Markets Committee, and Vice Chair of IOSCO, to deliver his remarks.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum. Dear esteemed Your Excellency Dr. Mustafa Madbouli, the Prime Minister of Egypt, dear Excellencies and Ministries, Members of Parliament, governors of Cairo, it is a pleasure and privilege to welcome you all for IOSCO's GEMC and Americ meeting, annual meetings and conference. In today's world of turbulence, in today's world of uncertainty, the great role of regulators and financial sector regulators on the banking front is quite important and could not be even more important than nowadays. IOSCO is well known for being the global standard setter. It is whereby all regulations are being driven for all local regulators and jurisdictions to work on and to try to reach to best practices in that regard. The Egyptian Financial Regulatory Authority, as we have seen in the video, is the non-bank financial regulator for the private insurance practice, insurance companies, private pension funds, capital markets with all of its details and I would say different activities, non-bank financing such as mortgage finance, consumer finance, and all of these pillars have been very important for the growth of Egyptian economy and for availing finance for the private sector, and that is the key for any market, is how to avail the financing for the different users of this capital to be able to reach the sustainable development goals and to achieve the growth rates that we are aiming at, that reflects in employability of different players in the economy. I don't want to delve much. I know the time is of essence today, but I have 4 messages that I would like to give to my fellow regulators coming to the conference and to the workshops. The first would be evolve or perish. Unless we manage to evolve and overcome the difficulties and understand the changes that is happening in the markets, we will perish. We will perish as regulators. The traditional business models are going to perish from the ones that we get to know as it is nowadays. So the key point is evolving or perishing towards these changes. The second, I would say, message that I would like to say, technology is the name of the game. Without relying on technology, in availing the financial services, in reaching to the less privileged through the financial services and through the use of technology, it will be very difficult to reach to the masses that we all are aiming to serve and all are aiming to help. But technology is not only related to availing the financial service, it is as well related to the regulatory aspects and the subtech and regtech. With the development and the speed of technology in the availing of financial services, without regulators being apt when it comes to regulating markets and supervising the markets, relying on technology, it would be as well a very difficult task. A third message is capacity building. All of what we're doing as regulators is basically papers, income papers. Without capacity building for regulators and for market participants, it will remain as income papers. So this is a crucial point. And here I'm talking about sustainable capacity building, and that's a term that I would like us to use continuously. Capacity building is not a single target of achieving one day. It is a continuous target for us in terms of capacity building. Otherwise, all regulations that we get to issue as regulators, as governments, as anything who wants to develop markets would remain ink on paper. The final point is balanced and prudential regulations, a prudent regulatory environment. It is always very difficult to reach to the balance as regulators. Regulators are always keen on refuting, I have to say, new ideas, because it's always easier to refute new ideas. However, with the changing dynamics of markets, with the complexity of markets and the risks that we're seeing, it is quite very important that we need to have prudent regulatory environment, open and at the same time without losing our sight on financial stability, because this is the ultimate target for any financial sector regulator, whether in the banking or the non-banking sector. It is financial stability. Once again, I would like to thank you. I would like to thank Your Excellency, Dr. Mustafa, for honoring us with your presence, and I don't know, my friends and colleagues, ministers and members of parliament for attending today. We have in the conference discussions related to environment, related to sustainability, financial technology, and market stability. Thank you again.
Thank you, Dr. Mohammed, for your special speech. Thank you. And now we invite Mr. John Paul, the chairman of IOSCO, to deliver his keynote speech.
Your Excellency, Mr. Prime Minister of Egypt, Dr. Mustafa Madbouli, dear Minister, members of Parliament, governors, dear Excellencies, dear distinguished guests, dear colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. As a chairman of IOSCO, it's for me a real honor and pleasure to address this remarkable audience in Cairo, a place, of course, that is known for making history, great history. And I would like, therefore, to thank warmly my colleague, Dr. Mohamed Farid, not only for the warm welcome, but for the excellent organization of the week, which is an important one for me, for my outreach as IOSCO chair. As you know, Mohamed is not only the chairman of the National Financial Regulatory Authority, but it is also a very dynamic chair of IOSCO Grow and Emerging Market Committee. In fact, ladies and gentlemen, Excellency, the largest IOSCO committee. It's also a very dynamic vice chair of IOSCO board. Allow me also to remind you that IOSCO is one of the few real international global membership organizations, an international body that brings together more than 130 jurisdictions and 100 securities regulators from around the world, 90 of which are from growth and emerging jurisdictions, has to be said. It has also to be said that together, IOSCO members at national level are involved, ladies and gentlemen, in the supervision in various capacities of the supervision of almost 95% of financial market all around the world. What is our mission? That's the place to be for global challenges and initiatives as financial regulator. Our mission is indeed to foster efficient and well-functioning market, protect investors, and ensure the integrity of securities market. In essence, IOSCO serves as the standard setter for global regulation of financial market. That's the reason why, Excellency, I would like to convey 4 messages. How to avoid fragmentation, what about crypto and digital assets, our initiative about sustainable finance, and last but not least, the need, by definition, for international cooperation. As stressed by Mohamed rightly, despite risk of geopolitical tension, financial systems are and remain deeply interconnected. One of the key challenges for the financial sector is the risk of regulatory fragmentation in financial services. Regulatory fragmentation can create inefficiencies, increase operational risk, and impede the proper functioning of market. it is my view, our view, as IOSCO members, that current structural market development, such as digitization and sustainable finance, call, of course, for appropriate international coordination. And that's the reason why I am proud to say that IOSCO living up this expectation, and I would like to highlight certain areas where we have achieved significant progress in recent months. My first public speech after my election by all board members 1 year ago, it was in Sharm el-Sheikh during the COP27. And my first message, which was maybe a surprise for many people in the room, was speed. Not per se, but because there are many expectations. There are many expectations, second message, about what we are doing about crypto and digital assets. Last week, I was in Singapore to announce IOSCO final report for the regulation of crypto and digital assets. This is a real important milestone. Why? Just because the absence of a current regulatory approach across jurisdictions poses challenges of regulatory arbitrage given the borderless nature of crypto asset business risk and opportunities. Our IOSCO report, a toolkit which has to be used, which can be used by the national regulator. Our report highlights that existing standards and principles for financial market are relevant and must apply to crypto asset and service provider. What does it mean? Our report details 18 recommendations for a robust international regulatory policy baseline to mitigate risk to investor and market. IOSCO attention will now shift to ensure the fair and timely implementation of this recommendation across IOSCO 130 member jurisdictions. Let us be clear, challenge for everybody, because we all know that crypto assets are widely used in many jurisdictions and in growing emerging jurisdictions. And the implementation of IOSCO recommendation is of the greatest importance if we are to succeed in our ambition. Other very important message, the third one, sustainable finance. Climate finance and climate change is probably, yes, the greatest challenge of our time, and sustainable finance is a crucial part of it. Financial markets play a pivotal role in channeling capital towards sustainable projects. That's what we expect from the financial sector to be helpful for channeling investment to new projects, which are in line with ESG expectations. Large and small investors, institutional and retail investors, John and Mary in the street, in fact, are demanding high quality and comparable information about sustainability risk and opportunities. Investors don't want to be greenwashed. It's about trust, and trust is important for the well-functioning of market. Investors want to know how the investor in company could be affected by climate change. They want to be able to compare investment opportunity, for instance, in the African Middle East region, on the basis of globally consistent language, as is the case for financial reporting. The ISSB, a new body dedicated to this initiative, the International Sustainability Standards Board, published inaugural standards for climate disclosure and general requirement in June. Fast-track procedure, speed, as I stressed in Sharm el-Sheikh 1 year ago. The G7, the G20, and the FSB, the Financial Stability Board, relied on IOSCO to assess whether the ISSB standards are fit for purpose for capital market. The IOSCO Sustainable Task Force, of which Mohammed is our excellent vice chair, has therefore carefully reviewed, challenged the quality of the ISSB standards. In July, so again fast-track procedure, we concluded that the ISSB framework serves as an effective and proportionate global framework of investor-focused disclosure on sustainability-related risk. IOSCO, let us be clear, has benefited, Excellency Prime Minister, from the support and expertise from you financial reporting regulatory authority and from the GROW Emerging Market Committee members. Their feedback has been taken on board, It's important. It's about scalability, proportionality, and appropriate speed. It is clear that proportionality, scaling, and phasing are keys while going forward. I'm used to work with a well-known expression. For me, the most important, the train was able to start on time, endorsement July, but the speed and the size of the train in many jurisdictions won't be the same. It's about diversity. When we endorse the ISSB standards, we call on our 130 jurisdictions to consider ways in which they might adopt, apply, or otherwise be informed by the ISSB standards to promote consistent and comparable climate-related and other sustainability-related disclosure of investment. We expect, ladies and gentlemen, that at the end of the day, eventually up to 140,000 companies, 140,000 companies will over time be reporting under or to be informed by the ISSB standards framework. For the company's 2024 financial and non-financial statement, both disclosure and issuance of standards will be globally available, as I called, at the COP27 in Sharm el-Sheikh 1 year ago. So, was it too optimistic? No. We were realistic and up to the jurisdiction, up to the political decision maker, take into account the legitimacy at national level to work with it if they think that it's a useful toolkit. I will be attending COP28 in Dubai in December to present IOSCO work on recent report published on sustainable finance, for instance, voluntary carbon market, and on signaling cooperation on capacity building, which is also instrumental if we want to have a successful job. We will be rolling out a capacity building program to ensure all IOSCO members are equipped to implement or consider the use of the ISSB inaugural framework. Therefore, IOSCO is fully committed to engage with regulators across jurisdictions, especially from the Global South, to support them in deciding on the regulatory and policy approach to the adoption of use of ISSB climate standard in their jurisdiction with the ISSB support. And of course, last message about the need for international cooperation. The challenges we face are dynamic and multifaceted, spanning from the evolving landscape of crypto asset to the imperative of sustainable finance and the overarching goal for financial stability. As IOSCO, we are determined to foster cooperation among regulators to promote consistent standards and to ensure the robustness of global financial markets. Excellency, Prime Minister, ladies and gentlemen, let us work hand in hand, transcending borders and jurisdiction, to build a resilient and sustainable financial region. Thank you for your attention, and I thank again the FRA and Mohamed and the FRA team for organizing such a event.
Thank you, Mr. John. And now, please join me to welcome His Excellency Dr. Mustafa Madbouli, Prime Minister of Egypt, to deliver opening remarks.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
Miséricorde.
Esteemed members of the National Organization for Securities Commissions, it is with sincere pleasure that I address this gathering today for the annual meeting and conference of IOSCO's Growth and Emerging Market and the Africa and the Middle East Regional Committees. It gives us pleasure that Egypt, represented by the Financial Regulatory Authority, FRA, was elected in 2022 as the chair of GIMC and the vice chair of IOSCO. Today's meeting is an opportunity to exchange ideas and share experiences on addressing threats and threats of the financial technology, fintech, seeding its opportunities and embedding sustainability into the financial sector. Ladies and gentlemen, as we live in a rapidly changing digital era, I believe that fintech innovations and sustainability are key enablers of change to enhance financial inclusion and provide an efficient and sustainable access for financial services to everyone in our societies. This requires a growing economy, and Egypt adopted a homegrown economic reform program to enhance economic stability and fast forward Egypt's growth and development. The economic reform program aimed at jump-starting infrastructure investments to support the private sector's activity to increase growth and create more jobs, especially for women and youth. To facilitate access to finance, the government embarked on implementing an IPO program to boost private sector participation in the economic activities. Understanding the importance of Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, the government set and adopted Egypt's Vision 2030 to be consistent with the structural economic reforms, raise employment rates, increase investment in human capital, and foster partnership with private sector. Indeed, some of the reforms that Egypt embarked on led to an improvement of 6 places in SDGs index for 2023. Ladies and gentlemen, the non-banking financial sector plays a vital role in the economy. The government implemented several legislative reforms to develop its legal framework, namely introducing MSMEs and consumer finance laws. These activities become a spearhead in financial inclusion. Second, amending the executive regulations of the capital markets law to introduce sustainability-linked bonds and ESG funds. Third, introducing voluntary carbon markets under the supervision of the FRA. Finally, yet importantly, introducing Egypt's first law in the non-banking financial activities. Subsequently, the FRA issued the executive rules and regulation to promote financial inclusion through facilitating access to financial services and foster innovation. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a hard time full of challenges. However, I profoundly believe that together we can confront them, find opportunities, and achieve the required growth while listening and learning from each other. I wish you a fruitful conference and meetings, and God bless you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Mustafa. Distinguished delegates, please stay in your seat to start the high-level discussion. Mainstreaming sustainability, with the generous participation of Her Excellency Dr. Hala Saeed, Minister of Planning and Economic Development, His Excellency Dr. Mohammed Maït, Minister of Finance, Her Excellency Dr. Yasmin Fouad, Minister of Environment. To be moderated by Dr. Mohammed Farid Saleh, Executive Chairman, Financial Regulatory Authority in Egypt.